Hey everyone, this is Phil, Point Below, and in this unboxing video we're going to take a look at our all-inclusive survival kit. So this is the type of kit that you'd leave maybe in your car or in a bug-out bag or something like that, so that it's ready when you need it. It's not the type of item you'd bring with you on every hike, but it is the item that you'd be happy to have if you need it. So this all-inclusive kit comes with 15 tools in total, and some of those tools have more than just one use. So let's get into it and see what we're working with. The box itself is one part of the kit. So this box that the kit is going to be shipped in is a waterproof case, which is going to be perfect for keeping anything you want to safe from the elements. So once you break this kit out, you can repurpose the case itself for the waterproof capabilities. With the items inside the kit, starting off with the emergency blanket, this is your standard survival blanket. So it's going to help reflect your body heat, keep you dry as well, and is generally just going to be a huge comfort item to have in any survival situation. Next up, we have a wire saw. So this is another standard survival type item, and it's been around forever due to its usefulness and how small it is. I mean, this thing is just tiny. However, if you were to unwind this, you would have a pretty decently sized saw wire, which you can use with the included D-ring. So you'd grasp them in either hand and push and pull to saw through whatever you need to. That's not the most comfortable way, and I would recommend crafting a bow saw like we have in a picture on our website for better comfort and ease of use. So keep that in mind if you do have to break out the wire saw. Next up, we have a pocket bellow. And this is a really useful item for stoking or getting a fire going. And if you don't know what a bellow is, it is this hollow tube that is extendable, so you can get it right down into the fire and get oxygen where it needs it most. So if you're having issues getting your fire really going, well, that can be attributed to a lot of things. If you have a huge frame, for example, you could be limiting some of the air supply that the fire needs to start. So a bellow will help put oxygen directly where it needs to be to start or stoke your fire. Now next up, we have a pretty unique item, and I wasn't sure about the usefulness of this at first, but when I tried it out, it actually turned out to be very useful. So if you use a disposable plastic water bottle, or if that was just something you're bringing on a hike, for example, a day hike, this is a water bottle belt clip. So this button and Velcro snap allows you to secure it around your belt, and this little clip at the end is perfectly sized to a water bottle. So this will allow you to hold that water bottle close to you. You can undo the button so that you can grab a drink and snap it back in to keep it in place, and that'll just free up some space in your bag and always make sure that you're ready to be hydrated. Next up, we have a Paracord Bracelet, and ours features a compass as well as an emergency whistle. These are perfect for a variety of things, whether you need cordage for something, or of course you need to use the whistle to help someone find you, or the compass to find your own way out. This is really useful to have all of these available to you. Next up, we have fishing line, 2 hooks, and 2 lures. So the fishing line is a really nice touch, but my favorite part is that it actually comes with hooks. A lot of these kits that I've seen don't come with hooks, and that is the last thing you want to be doing, is trying to craft a hook if you're in a survival situation. So it's really nice that our kit comes with that, so that it's one less thing for you to worry about. Next up, we have some fire starter ropes. So these are wax covered fire starter ropes. And that's going to help them kind of resist moisture so they don't go bad. If they do get a little bit wet, they'll still light just fine. If they are soaking in a puddle or something, then you'll want to dry them out before you go and use them. But for these ropes, if you're using 1 per fire, will allow you to start up to 4 fires. Next up, we have our multi-eating tool. So this is a fork, spoon, and knife. As you can see, on the fork side, there is a knife, serrated edge on one end for cutting. And then, of course, there is a flat spoon. Also on this tool is a can opener located on the fork side and a bottle opener located on the spoon side. And in the middle here, you do have different size hex screws, so you can tighten down different hex nuts with this tool. And I have seen some pictures of people turning this into a harpoon style for spear hunting for fish, which you can do as well if you're in that type of survival situation. Now next up, of course, we have a knife. This is a 3¼ inch blade folding knife with a serrated edge. So that's going to help with sawing and cutting, of course. And there's also a window breaker and cordage cutter / seatbelt cutter on the handle. So these are normally called seatbelt cutters, but they can be used for a variety of purposes, and the main thing is for cutting cordage. So you're going to get a lot more leverage cutting cordage using that than you would just traditionally holding the cordage and sawing through it with your knife. So that's just one thing that will help keep your blade intact and use less energy cutting cordage when you need to. Next up, we have a ferro rod and striker. So again, this is a very standard survival item to have, but it's really important to make sure you have it. So this has a nice large handle for gripping the ferro rod, which is really important because it can be very difficult to start a fire with a ferro rod if you don't have a lot of experience, and mainly that's going to come from trying to get the spark to catch on your tinder. So there's many different ways, more than two for sure, but the best way to do that is to use this scraper side to scrape some material off so that there's a little bit more purchase for that spark to catch on your tinder, and then of course using the flat side to actually strike and create that spark. One big tip I can say, rather than striking away from the rod, you hold the striker in place and pull the ferro rod away. That's going to help direct your spark better and not flash any tinder around where you don't need it. Next up, we have 2 locking carabiners. So these are going to be perfect for securing something and make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Big thing to note, these are not climbing clips, so please do not climb with these. They're strictly meant for securing and holding. We also include a pen and window breaker, so it's a stainless steel body. You can reuse that for a variety of purposes. It's just useful to have a writing tool, and of course the window breaker doesn't hurt as well to have it on there. It's also an emergency whistle. This is a dedicated emergency whistle, so it's going to be a little bit louder than some of the other items, such as the whistle that's on the Paracord lanyard. And this is going to be very key in a survival type situation to make sure that rescue teams can find you. And of course, we have a multi-tool card, which has 11 different tools on it. It does come with this little card so that you know what all the different tools are, and you can see there is a lot of things on here. So first things foremost, be careful pulling this out, as there is 3 sharp edges. As you can probably see on the camera, we have a sharp edge at the bottom, a larger flat sharp edge, and then a finer sharp edge on this corner. So be careful when you're grabbing the card on that side, but otherwise there are no sharp edges other than those. There is this serrated saw edge so that you can use that for sawing, of course, and there is a direction ancillary indicator right here, and essentially that's kind of a primitive compass. So if anything happens to your primary compass, this is something that should always work. And if you don't know how to use one of those, definitely recommend looking into how one of the ancillary indicators work so that you can use it if you need to. And finally, of course, we include a flashlight. This is a battery operated light, so it does require batteries, so you should definitely make sure you put a battery in here. And this is more of a backlit light than anything, but it's better than nothing if you need any sort of illumination. It does have a zoom function, so by pulling the front you can get that light to a fine point, or you can push it to the back for a more floodlight or wide area of effect. And all together, that is the 15 tools that come with our all-inclusive survival kit. You'll be very happy to have this should you need it. We hope you don't, but if you do, check it out at pointbelow.com.